gamers, Menheras, mentally ill girls, also known as my favorite kind of women. Anyways, so I seen this video make some rounds on Twitter because people were upset about it, and that made it really funny because, you know, that's how that always works. But I wanted to watch this video. It's called How Mentally Ill Became Cute and Sexy, and Shiori was in the title or in the thumbnail, so I had to watch that because I love Shiori. I'm actually a huge Hololive Advent. I'm a huge Hololive English fan in general. But yeah, I wanted to see this, so let's go.
Disclaimer, as there might be some people who will find this insensitive to people with actual mental illness, please note that this is just a video exploring the internet phenomenon.
The weeb community.
The weeb community. Mental illness is obviously a serious issue that must be taken seriously.
It's true.
So if you are sensitive to this,
it's kind of funny though.
Please keep this in mind as we go along the video, or skip the video entirely. With that being said, let's begin.
Let's go.
This is
Let's lock in.
the central character of the game Newbie Streamer Overlord.
I never played this game. Did anyone play this game? I mean, maybe I'll play it. Chat, should I play this? I don't know. We'll see.
She is a girl with all sorts of internal and external issues.
I'm not good with horror games, though, is anything. I don't know how much of a horror game it is.
She is depressed and craves social validation. She is insecure, has no standards or ethics, only hell-bent on getting popular so she doesn't get evicted. Like Tinkerbell, she needs attention or else she will die. This is Angel, a positive figurehead in the internet, a beacon of light in this dark and toxic cesspit that we call social media.
Oh, does she have like a
selfless, promotes good health and positivity, someone who can do no wrong, and someone who will support you if no one else will. Unless, of course, if you treat her bad. Ame-chan and Kangel are actually the same person.
Wow.
Ame-chan and Kangel are extremely attractive to certain people. This
she has like a whole
a VTuber from
beloved. Actually, man. No, I can't do that to my. I can't do that to Narissa. Narissa is my Oshi lover, but Shiori is a very, very, very close second.
Top VTuber agency Hololive. She is a VTuber.
I saw that Shiori game I need to play. How do I do that?
Material. She is goofy. She likes all sort of things. She reads books. She's more cultured than a lot of people like in them.
Shiori novella.
She's familiar with the internet, and she's this comfy goofball that just wants to have fun. But when she got announced with this design, certain demographics brainwashed themselves into thinking this was her actual design. And when it turned out she wasn't as mentally deranged as her design implied she would be,
she's really not.
Shouting,
she's very funny though.
Regardless, people who stuck to Shiori realized that she is actually peculiar in her own way, goofy and still fitting.
Wait, what does it say?
Realized that she is actually
husband. Oh, her husbandos. Donhung. Really, Donhung? Scaramouche, Kazuzu, and Xiao.
Peculiar in her own way.
Pretty good list.
Goofy,
can't be mad.
With
now, is it Donhung? Is it Daniel Normal or is it Daniel Prime?
Shiori
it's a real question. I don't have Prime, Donhung Prime, by the way.
Person I'd like to introduce.
I don't know why I keep sharing that.
People, actually. And the reason I list all of these, including those in the collage, is
Future
because
Diary.
These examples make up the 3 core types of Menheras that Yukari Seko and Minako Kokichi in their 2022 paper titled Mentally Ill and Cute as Hell. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Menheras.
Shit.
You'll like this, don't you?
Placid, happy. That was great.
But before we continue, let me introduce Honkai Star Rail.
Honkai Star Rail, chat. What game is that? I've never. Oh, it's Fushuan.
Just don't miss, honestly.
Oh, Yukong. Wait, Yukong. Just a little.
End up getting awards like the best game of the year award in the App Store.
It's a real shame that Yukong sucks fucking cock.
A trash panda with a baseball bat.
Yeah, trash panda. I love Yukong, but she is dog shit, brother. Dog shit.
Playable and extremely fucking gorgeous. And this year, Star Rail is celebrating its first anniversary, and that means you are getting yourself free pools and a lot of events to get even more pools.
It's true.
Right now, they have also
I got
the
Akron
most
because of that.
compelling update since Bellabog. Penacony is a gorgeous map with very unique 1913 cartoon aesthetic.
Akron.
You're gonna love this update, I swear.
Yeah, because she's busted.
I'm not exaggerating. One of their most interesting characters just dropped in the gacha, and it's basically the best time to play on.
Oh, is this when Acheron was
Acheron
released?
is a mysterious
Yeah.
and cold
I weep for
swordsman
the
and was
departed.
the coolest oath in the game so far. There's also Aventurine, a finance bro. But if a finance bro was sexy and actually is generous
this
and goes out
asshole.
for you by giving you shields.
Boo!
Again, because they just released
Boo, get the
an
fuck off the
anniversary,
stage.
There's tons upon tons of rewards for you to go.
I like
Free
that event. That event was
free
pretty cool.
rolls, free rolls, free rolls, and even more free rolls.
Chat, say it with me. Genshin could never.
And you know what else will get you free rolls?
Give me that gem.
By downloading the game in the description and using these redemption codes for Acheron and Aventurine's launch dates. And I'm not
Nice.
kidding
Those are
when I
probably
say
expired by
that
now.
this
Chat, don't
game
use
is
them.
That good. It's deeper and more complex than its trailers and gameplay betrays.
And there's a
again,
lot of tits in the
please
game, so
check
that's
the
always
game
cool.
out. Ad over. First of all, what is a Menhera anyway? Well, I mean, if you are already watching this video and follow my channel, you most likely know what it is. But to the uninitiated, it's basically a mentally ill person. But the term has an interesting origin that involves 2chan, but it's a term that no longer applies now. Because recently,
Okay.
the internet has pushed beyond that original definition and has added a little bit of extra, making it a bit more broader. Now, it's gotten so big that it's become an aesthetic, a vibe. It doesn't have the
Is
same
that a
serious
vibe?
connotation that it used to, at least not that much. The
Oh, God.
concept of a menhera is now associated with cute or sexiness a lot of the time. Now, the
Wow, she's so
definition pretty
mentally
much includes
unhinged.
all
It's
sorts of
adorable.
derangement, edginess, frequent leaks of intrusive thought, or anything that's quirky. Hell, even a certain fashion sense. Because of this, it's important to
Shiori.
actually
She's so stupid.
differentiate all these types of menheras and categorize them. Again, the paper published by Seiko in Kokichi has already given us a lot of great work to start with, so let's begin with that. According to the paper, and with recent observations, there are 3 types of major menhera tropes: the sad girl, the mad woman, and the cutie. We will be covering subtropes that fall under
Cutie.
these 3 major categories, so don't you worry, we have a lot of material to work with. The sad girl, as you might guess, is a girl that's sad.
I love that gif.
No, seriously. The sad girl is somebody who struggles with
it?
anxiety, low
Okay.
self-esteem, hopelessness, and loneliness. But
Hey, me
you
too.
might ask yourself, what is
Wait, I'm
so
a guy.
cute and attractive about this? Well, this is a trope that's very common in media, where either a depressed woman or a depressed person is saved by the hero or heroine. A forlorn, beautiful girl who never gets anything she wants, stuck inside her mind, bullied for the longest time, longingly wishing
really
for
thought she was
that
about to
one
stab his
person
ass.
to look at her and treat her like a human
Oh, it's
being. In short, it
what's her face?
appeals
I
to
love that
people's
movie.
sense of ego,
A
or
Silent
even
Voice.
people who wish to find shared vulnerability.
Yeah.
Both stable and unstable men will come to like the sad girl, with the former having their masculine protective instincts coming in to wish to help and fix them, and the latter having somebody they can relate to and hopefully lick each other's wound. And a big reason why this archetype has been
Lick each other's
peddled
what?
around by women who
I
relate
think
to
he
the
said spoon.
sad girl and men who like the sad girl is this interesting little character over here. This is Kurumi, otherwise known as Menhera-chan to a lot of people. And
Is she a
stickers of her
Menhera?
got
I've never
popular
actually.
in
So I've seen this girl. I've only seen like gifs of her, like the funny gif of her slamming the desk. I've only seen that one, but I never actually knew who this character was. I didn't know she was a Menhera.
Now, emotes of her are used by an ungodly amount of Discord kitten. Menhera-chan started out as a diary of sorts by
The
the
Discord
author on
kitten.
her little personal website until she received help from an editor to turn it into an actual manga. And the quality of the manga is subjective in terms
Oh,
of quality.
okay.
Some of
Wow.
it might even come across as disturbingly insensitive to actual mental health issues, but the aesthetic and the quirkiness of the character immortalized Kurumi-chan into the weeb culture icon that she is now. The lore behind it is pretty sad though. The author got bullied in school and
Aw.
socially withdrew. Again, Kurumi-chan was a diary
Sorry to hear
or
that.
autobiography of sorts of the author. So whatever feelings that this girl goes through in the manga and in the original text is also the same kind of feelings that the author went through. And she was around 14 years old when all of this was made. The sad girl's suffering is the suffering of existence itself. If you ever sat in a corner or on a table, perhaps holding a pillow or staring into the ceiling, wishing that you were dead and that there is no point in living, you stopped resisting those thoughts and fighting for anything that's worth
a really
it in
cool
life.
picture.
You've admitted defeat to the cold universe's
Probably not an
relentless
appropriate time for
assault
that.
against anything that makes you happy. There's nothing more for you in the future. You've justified isolating yourself by saying that the world is gonna end anyway. Friendships don't matter because they all end. Relationships eventually turn into breakups. Physical touch is
Can we get to the point, brother? I'm not ready for all this. Come on, let's go.
temporary. But despite that, you still want those, but just can't participate. Cannot learn to bother the skills to get them. You completely and utterly withdrew into yourself. You've been stuck into this feeling for so long that the pain becomes numb.
Man, this
Perhaps
is
you
sure going on for a
externalize your inner
while.
pain by drawing your own blood to feel something, selfishly hoping for a calamity that would just end the world, or that you get into an accident that kills you immediately. Something this existential is the reality of the sad girl. It is something that nobody wants to go through, but unfortunately in this social climate, a lot of people are all too familiar with, to varying degrees. And you see,
It's
there are
true.
those people who, perhaps in their ego or genuine sympathetic nature, wish to save or fix this person. It is the
Chad,
most
I could fix
human
her.
and best
Or maybe I can make it
reaction
worse.
to
I don't know,
do.
somewhere in between
However,
there, right?
one has to be careful and to take note. A flailing, drowning man drags and swims past their fellows in order to save themselves. It is not malicious, it is instinct. Saving a flailing, drowning man can sometimes end up with the savior drowned themselves. But not me, obviously. I can still save her. This is a bit of a stretch, but there's a subtrope under the sad girl that does not necessarily have all those dark and deep tones, but people somewhat find the same sort of attraction to anyway. That subtrope would be the anxious girl. These are basically people that are extremely shy. And I hear you asking, hey, you stupid dumb rabbit, that's
You
basically
motherfucker.
a yandere. No, it's not, you fucking idiot. Let me
Oh,
explain.
okay. Well, damn,
A
he shot back.
yandere
My
is
bad.
someone like Sawako Koronuma, Miyu Akiyama,
My bad, dog.
and
I was
Hinata from
on.
Naruto. Pretty shy, but not
I
necessarily
was unfamiliar with your
socially inept.
game.
The anxious girl is someone like Bochi the Rock or Komi
still need to
from
watch that.
Komi Can't Communicate.
Never
These are
finished
the
that one.
girls who you kinda have to force in order to engage with people, and maybe extremely lonely growing up.
Fucking cat.
Oftentimes, there's a smidge of depression and wanting for more in times when they are alone. And oftentimes, they don't even realize that they actually are very depressed or lonely and sad, especially when they taste a bit of what they're missing out on and only then realize that they may be more fucked up in degrees worse than they thought. Of course, they don't
Yakuza.
necessarily have to be depressed, but they do have to have a sense of longingness for companionship.
Oh,
but
what
it's
was
just
that?
too
That's kinda
socially
badass.
anxious to pursue it. And people like this trope because some people relate to this type of person. But
Wah.
at the same time, a lot of men like to have a very, very socially anxious person because if they could just penetrate the walls of that one girl, then they are in there alone with that person. There is no competition. It's just you, that girl, and nobody else.
Damn.
Some even like it because if they are able to do that, they cement themselves as a core and important
I
figure
can fix
in this
that.
person's life. They made an impact that, in the foreseeable future, cannot be beaten. And what is a greater desire than that? What is humanity's greatest desire for each other than to protect someone and to be fondly remembered by others, whether
It's true.
romantically or platonically? Alright, now let's take a look at the other tropes. The mad woman, unlike the sad girl, is someone whose appeal is based off of her madness. Now, this broad definition
This girl definitely gonna
opens
kill
up
you,
a lot
right?
of specific subtropes, with the unifying factor being that they are obsessed with something or someone, often in a romantic way, and are very psychopathic and sociopathic in their means of getting what they want or expressing
Need me
something.
some of that.
Such means
Wait.
include self-harming, emotional, or even
Alright,
physical
maybe not.
harassment,
Wait,
blackmail,
no, never mind.
stalking, and all sorts of not so socially unhealthy behaviors that are adjacent to those. Again, this is very broad, and we can already categorize a few key notable subtropes that are very common and popular in Japanese and sometimes even Western media. I call them the yandere, the girl boss, and the weird girl. The yandere
yandere.
is something that most likely don't need that much explaining. It's probably the easiest and most
Yeah,
popular
I guess the
subtrope
yandere is
of
the one
mad
that's, like,
woman. It is someone
most
that's
known.
obsessed and insane. Literally insane for someone, to a point that they could do anything to get them, including, again, but not limited to, murdering the competition or
Oh, jeez, well,
anyone
they're-
that gets in the way of their relationship, even their own family members.
I feel like if I try to
Often,
give
they would
You
even
Should
kill
Die another
themselves
go,
or the person
wouldn't
that
be
they
as
like
good.
if they realize that they don't have any more chances with that person no matter what they do. The appeal of the yandere trope is that they are very unhinged and crazy
Oh,
with the people
shit.
they like. Whether that insanity be subtle or explicit, either way, a few people in
Sometimes
the
you
internet
just-
like
Sometimes, sometimes you just need an unhinged girl, Chet. Don't blame me. Don't look at me weird. Don't look at me like I'm the one that's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's not me. I'm just saying, Oh, I muted it.
necessarily wanting to take that sort of relationship IRL. This insanely hot and cute anime girl that's way above your league, insanely crazy for you to a point of being murderous, that's attractive to some people. The fact that someone
Kinda.
desires them that badly is a massive appeal to one's ego, or even a nice fantasy to warm up someone's cold, lonely darkness, especially when it's a yandere. Someone who doesn't care about your flaws and insecurities
Spanish?
and is
It
still
is.
obsessed with you regardless. The girl boss is different though, because they have some of the traits of the yandere, but Imagine if the
Dude, that
yandere
girl's
was a bit
hot.
more reserved and is able to control their emotions better. However, romance doesn't have
Kafka.
to be involved with the girl boss. The girl boss, unlike the yandere, who brute forces herself and is very
Phoenix
aggressive in showing
Kafka.
off their love, is very subtle. She won't murder anyone in cold blood. She'll
Kafka
assassinate
will,
those
that's for
people,
sure.
or just get a hitman. They don't scream or threaten you to love them. They convince you that there is no one else in the world other than them that will love them as much as they can. They won't emotionally pressure you. They'll
Makima.
manipulate the circumstances around you to make you do what they want. They are manipulators, but in a different, more implicit way. Always 2 steps ahead of anyone. Someone who has tamed their insanity and psychopathy and manifesting their derangement in intelligent ways.
That one. Can I get that one? Chat. That one for me, please. The girl boss. Yeah. I need one of those. We can find me one.
And they are especially dangerous, more dangerous even than the yandere. The yandere might kill you or everyone else around you, but the girl boss can do worse. These days,
Oh,
the girl
no.
boss are shown as very powerful and authoritative
She's gonna
figures, showing up
commit
as a
tax fraud.
mastermind type of character who shows interest
Smack her in the back of the
particular
head.
person, whether that be
Yes, she
for
did.
their own personal reasons or other ulterior or sinister ones. People like the girl boss because they're often portrayed
Goodness.
as smoking hot, confident, intelligent, mature women who can be as crazy as the yandere, but without the explicit traits
Boom.
that may turn people off that the yandere has. People like confident, capable women, especially in this day and age where people like a woman who can take care of herself and essentially mommy you. Lastly, we now have to go over the
I'm a
cute.
big fan
The
of
cute
mommies, yeah,
is-
that's for sure.
There's a lot of layers to this trope, and that is very hard.
This is the one I'm
to
confused
work.
about. This is
In
the one I
fact,
don't know
think
anything
it's
about.
better to show you.
Hmm.
Do you get it?
No, I'm actually more confused than I was before.
Basically, the cutie is a trope that embodies sick cute aesthetic, an aesthetic that incorporates very cutesy stuff with dark and disturbing themes.
Okay.
Putting in elements like bandages, wounds, knives, nooses, eye patches, pills, and
Jeez.
the contrast is what makes it work. It is what makes it so intriguing. Now, unlike the other tropes that don't even try to be appealing, well, sometimes, the cutie is quite the opposite. They intentionally make themselves look appealing and cute, juxtaposing their dark themes. Some to disturb the viewers, some to intrigue, some to hide their mental illness behind the cuteness, perhaps even a little bit of all three. There's even a cliche where the girls in this trope like Hello Kitty, especially Kurumi. Regardless of why they do it, it's working. But to expand on and add my own observation to this trope, I would actually like to include the Jirai K or Landmine Girl to be part of this because I think
Landmine
from
Girl.
the name itself, the cutie is a trope that shows off their mental illness with having a cutesy spin. To a certain extent, it even
Raven.
applies to goths and even Lolita culture somewhat because of their
You like
similarly
goths.
strange tendencies in media and their associations. It's a bit more complicated than that, but we're not getting into that in this video. The Jirai K culture is so popular that overseas people actually do like participating in the trend and the fashion
Really?
style without necessarily understanding the culture behind it.
Okay.
And I don't blame them, because in the eyes of anyone that isn't brain rotted with weeb stuff, mental illness is probably far from the first thought when they see this. But to anybody who is in this culture deep enough, you look at those sets of clothes and this aesthetic and alarm bells are gonna start blaring. Even your boner
Now you're in
getting
danger.
Western cultures,
Oh,
certain
jeez.
parts of this trope could even include the whole mascara dripping down the face and people still looking hot and attractive.
I should not-
kind of
I
thing.
should
And the
not
cutie
like that
aesthetic
as much as I
actually
do, but
also
I do.
works in the West. The point of the cutie is that they're a mess who makes the fact that they're a mess appealing, or to hide their mental illness under the cuteness, and for the most part, it works. It is designed to be cute. It's supposed
Chat, I can fix her. Maybe. If I don't fix her, chat, I've got chat. If chat, if I try to fix her and I go missing, just know I tried.
to look like a trap, but while even knowing that it's a trap, a lot of people are probably willing to step into that trap. And the subtrope of the cutie is actually something that a lot of people might find familiar. The
She likes
quirky
Metal
girl
Apocalypse?
are people
Love that
who are
one.
different from other girls, and I mean actually quirky girls, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Not those not like other girls.
Not
crowd
XD random,
that both you
raw
and I
XD.
probably have a bad opinion of. They're people that are just plain weird, or does not have any filter and lets their intrusive thoughts a little too much. Sometimes they just like unconventional things or have.
Oh, I know this.
unusual hobbies and
Yeah, this is by
passions. This
Merriweather.
is where the goth and
Actually, this is
Lolita
how I
culture
found out about
kinda
Merriweather.
Muddies the water a little bit, but often it's because they actually do
Oh,
have
shit.
mental disorders. Could have ADHD, autism, or
Jeez.
actual schizos, among many other disorders, and it just leaks out without them intending to do so. Now, Do these tropes, I mean all of these tropes, mean that people are romanticizing mental illness when associating themselves with the cutie? Kinda. Yeah,
A little
that's
bit.
why a lot of people pretend they're mentally ill or exaggerate their symptoms or diagnose themselves with all sorts of illnesses, because some people genuinely think that mental illnesses are fashionable, a reason to stand out. It makes them different. People like to be unique, to be strange, even if it comes with the cost.
I feel like at this point, mental.
downplaying
If
or
you,
trivializing
I feel like
how
at this point, if you're trying to do mental illness as like a standing out kind of thing, I feel like you're no longer as unique anymore, right?
serious or outright
Just a thought I
life-ruining
had.
some of these mental disorders actually are. But because a lot of people like to watch it, it got popular. And if there's a demand, there will be supply. Some people will see how someone can get passionate or fixated over certain things and start yapping and call it autistic or think it's cute and funny. Some people will see schizo Menhera breakdowns on the internet and how not taking meds is cute and funny. People think
That's not cute and funny. Chat, take your meds. It's not cute and funny, and it's probably going to get very expensive for you. And it probably will not end well. So take your meds, chat. And do your taxes. That's unrelated, but that was,
even both men
I just had that
and
thought.
women, some of them at least. But one has to wonder, how did it start being desirable and fashionable? How and why did
I don't
people
know.
start
I've just
finding
always
Menheras and mental illness
Yanderis have
attractive?
been a thing for as long as I know.
You might have heard the phrase, I can fix her, or its more or less known counterpart, I could fix her, but honestly whatever the fuck is wrong with her is way hotter. You see, they're a step, well, more than a step away from the safe and conventional. Vanilla sucks to many people. And look, no shame on the vanilla enjoyers out there.
No,
I'm just
definitely
saying
not.
that in this age of desensitization and this rapid chase for thrilling and digital sensations, vanilla is a dying taste. They're never gonna
Right.
go away, but its followers are gonna get cold in the future because people are now getting exposed to so much extreme stuff at such a young age that they'll seek out more stimulating things. This applies to people's taste in men and women. More and more people out there are gonna start looking for the unhinged, the unpredictable, for the strange, the macabre, for the quirky. This is legitimately addictive. And the Menhera becoming an entire genre is quite literally the proof that that's the future we're heading into. And the fact that this
can't
is
be a
even
good
the
thing.
peak of the popularity of this trope is scary, because in multiple ways the Menhera is fucked up as a genre. Again, it trivializes too many sensitive topics and plays it up as something else that it's not supposed to. It has its own societal setbacks if it does get more popular. It has other elements that fundamentally disturbs my principles as a YouTuber, if you can believe that. But I still can't help but
YouTube
consume it.
principles.
I can't help but wish to spread the Menhera gospel to my fellows. It's a guilty pleasure, but to many others, it's not a guilty pleasure. Sometimes it's all they have. It is
Oh,
inherent
no.
in men to care and protect for someone. The more someone needs to be cared and protected, the more this instinct flares up. And what needs to be more cared and protected than a Menhera? Especially when it's fiction. Especially when it's fantasy. See, the fantasy element of the Menhera is what I'd argue is the main reason why this is so popular. There is a disturbing rise of male loneliness these days. Not
That's
just
true.
in Japan or the US, but everywhere. Shut in, hikikimori, neat, whatever you want to call it. And many people also see a lot of these Instagram models or femcels tweeting and saying how they hate men or wish that men should be this or that, or have incredibly high standards or whatever. I'm not agreeing with that, but
Chat, you're enough. If no one's told you that, chat, I think you're enough. Chat, from your boy, from the kid, I think you're enough.
a lot of men have these echo chambers or get into all sorts of rabbit holes. Heck, some of these rabbit holes include stuff like AI chatbots and whatnot to substitute.
I still don't think
human companions.
I still don't think I'm lonely
These
enough for a
rabbit
chatbot,
holes
chat.
have
I'm
them
gonna be real
ending
with
up
you.
with two sorts of conclusions. Either this is better than the actual women that they see on social media, or that they don't have any other choice. Again, you look at women who are mentally ill as a probably depressed person being cute and having this fantasy that they can be crazy and quirky for everything and most especially for you, and you end up finding that
Right.
relatable and desirable. Someone who can understand you, perhaps someone to lick each other's wound with, try to fix each other. Some people even find the Menhera as having more of an interesting personality than a lot of women that they see online do. Some feel as if they don't have any shot with other stable women, so they go for the
Is that-
mentally unstable
that-
ones because
never
they're
mind.
more attainable. In a way, some men essentially think that the
that is
Menheras
her.
are the low-hanging fruit that they can reach, the only fruit that they can reach.
Chat, there's unstable and then there's this.
Ones that are taken
No, thank you.
advantage more easily. And that's not too uncommon these days. The desire to care for someone perverse, the desire for attention and love twisted, the desire to feel taken to the extreme. This is essentially the Menhera. All of these sentiments come from the fascination and intrigue It's a trope that no longer is even a trope anymore. The culmination of people like Gasai and Yandere's as a whole, Ame-chan and all other cute mentally ill people. It all led to having the Menhera and its subtropes be more than a trope but an entire genre. To summarize what I'm saying, the reason why there's such a massive supply of Menheras in media is because there's a massive demand for it.
Oh,
By
damn.
lonely men, by depressed men, that, and there's women who participate in that supply because it looks fucking cute and adorable. But there are
Hey, if you
actually
like that, if you like
mentally ill
dressing up like
women who
that,
find Menheras relatable
I can't-
that do this.
I can't fault you
And,
for that.
Well, I mean, look at this. The Menhera could be looked at as an attempt of the mentally ill to be confident and beautiful, like the
Trying to see if I
people
can
they
find that
aspire to be, either to seek out
gif I was
attention or
talking
draw
about.
people into their trap,
No.
or to
I
genuinely
definitely see this picture all the time. That's for sure. Like this one, I'm pretty sure. These two.
imitate the types of people that they admire. This made Needy Streamer Overload the cultural explosion that it was.
Was it really that popular? I mean, I've seen a few girls that played it, and I don't know how to say this, but all right, I'm just gonna say it. It checks out for the people that I saw playing it, but I didn't know it was that popular. I just knew, yeah, I just knew that, but was it really that good? I'll probably look it up on Steam after this.
idea what this game did to mentally ill women online, to the Yan core community, and
Oh,
even to some of
God.
the pretenders? All I have to say is that Ame-chan and Kinjil is the Ryan Gosling of mentally ill women. So for some women, if they can't
Sounds Ryan
get
Gosling.
anything done
I don't
in
know.
life when they're
That's an obscure
depressed,
reference.
they might as well look cute and sexy when they're suffering and crying.
Play Honkai Star Rail in the description. Chat, don't play Honkai Star Rail. No, do play Honkai Star Rail. It's a pretty good game. I definitely recommend it. Acheron is no longer available, so that kind of sucks if you didn't get Acheron, because she is absolutely busted. That is very not related to what this video was talking about. Anyways, chat, let me know what you thought about the video. Man, I'd be lying if I said I didn't like mentally ill girls, but that's neither here nor there. Chat, I can fix her. You know what I mean? You understand? I can fix her, probably. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. We're not gonna get any. We're trying to, or at least I'll try not to get weird with it. Anyways, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.